Welcome, everyone. We are about to talk classic Marvel Star Wars comics. Should be super fun. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna put this on that. 5 hours. Wow, 5 hours of time. Where is everyone coming from? If you guys are watching right now, let us know. All right, got my notes right here. Got all of our notes right here. Oh, look at my whoa! That's my iPad right there. Isn't that a fun cover wallpaper? I love it. All right, but right now we are talking Star Wars, classic Marvel Star Wars comics. Perfect. Okay. Here we go. Got our notes, got our comic. We're about to begin, just waiting on Richard over here, who will be coming soon. Okay. All right, here we go. There's that, hello, hello. Oh, that's really loud. Okay. Oh, and then let me set this up. Okay. Hi, you guys. Just about to start. Making sure we have all this ready to go.
Alrighty.
Okay. Alright. So, here we go. Classic Marvel Star Wars comics. Right here. Okay.
So
You guys like our classic Marvel Star Wars comics episodes? We think they're fun. A nice little break. Okay, I have our notes right here.
You want to follow along on your iPad?
Hey. Yeah, I got it right up here.
Okay.
Yes. All right. All right, Skywalkers. Who here has read classic Marvel Star Wars comics? So we'll find out.
This is 1978, the official original Star Wars comic,
Wow.
and now 2020 on an iPad.
Yep.
Look at that. Imagine if we had these back. Whoa!
Oh, that's the best way to do them, because then you don't have to worry if you drop your iPad, your comic is not ruined. All right.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yep.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
Once again, this is the issue right over here. It smells like 1978.
Okay. I'm going to hit record. You're going to get this set for you.
All right, microphone's plugged in this time.
Yes, they are.
Good. Good.
Yes, they are. Okay. Here we go. Oh, do you start or do I start?
I start. I talk first.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there exists a state of cosmic civil war. A brave alliance of underground freedom fighters has challenged the tyranny and oppression of the awesome galactic empire. This is their story. And that is how Marvel Comics began every 107 issues of their original Star Wars comic series. I am Richard Woloski, and I want to welcome you once again to Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics. And I'm here to take you through these classic stories, share memories of reading these comics as a kid, and get you all caught up with these characters and situations that every Star Wars fan must know. And with me here once again is my sweetie wife, Sarah.
Hey, comic book fans! So, I'm a comic book newbie, especially when it comes to these vintage comic series from 1977 to 1986. So each episode, I'm reading these comics for the first time and giving you my 21st century perspective on each issue. And I also look at them from and I also look at them from an artist's point of view.
Now, in this episode of Classic Marvel Star Wars comics, we will cover issue 21, Shadow of a Dark Lord. Need some reverb on that one. And now this is the 4th chapter in this 6-part story arc.
Yes. All right, so let's spend a minute or two catching you up to speed and recap the adventures from issue number 20, Death Game.
My favorite Avengers film.
What a name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in that issue, Imperial Commander Strom sets up another fake attack where a civilian pleasure yacht is destroyed by the rebellion. And of course, this is a setup. Now, the attack is broadcast into the casinos on the Wheel, where patrons watch in horror. Strom and the Wheel's administrator, Simon Greyshade...
Strong man.
Is it Simon?
Simon.
Strom and the Wheel's administrator, Simon Greyshade, further plot their partnership. And things don't go as planned in the gladiatorial battle arena, as Han Solo has miraculously defeated a vicious opponent. Meanwhile, Luke, who is under observation in the Wheel's hospital area, is now missing. ...
Oh boy. Now in this issue that has lots of Disney sequel foreshadowing, I love that because I'm arguing with everybody that no, this has nothing to do with the Disney sequels. And yes, I believe the writers and producers of the Disney films, they've read these comics, got some ideas.
Absolutely.
And we'll see why in just a few minutes. Now, Princess Leia, she escapes from Simon Greyshade, the administrator of the casino in space known as the Wheel. Leia has found Luke, who has now recovered from his trance-like state after facing his most dreaded fear, Darth Vader. Meanwhile, Greyshade has secretly sent his security force to recover the money that the Empire has stolen from the Wheel. Han Solo enters the Wheel's main gambling event called The Big Game.
Wow, they really stretched themselves with that name.
Yeah. And now Han realizes that Chewbacca is one of his opponents in a Hunger Games-like battle to the death. Across the galaxy, on the planet Altar, Darth Vader, he's back. Darth Vader finds the remains of a rebel information retrieval team wiped out by the bounty hunter Valance. And Vader realizes that Valance is searching for the same thing, the boy who destroyed the Death Star. Now the race is on to see who finds him first.
Woo! This issue is very exciting. I have one question, though.
Okay.
All right, Valance. Now, I think I'm getting him confused with Valanche or some other name.
You're talking about Bruce Valanche?
Maybe?
The writer of the Star Wars Holiday Special?
That is what I'm thinking of.
We've had on the show last year?
That's who I'm thinking of. Bruce Valanche. Okay, but Valance is... I can't picture him in my head.
He is your typical Marvel 70s, 80s, very big, brutish looking hunter.
Okay.
And the last time we saw him, he looked like the Punisher. And at the end, we realized he was half cyborg. And when Marvel picked up this series last year with issue 108, they brought back this bounty hunter.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he's been a running character.
Doesn't he hate cyborgs? And then it turns out he is a half cyborg.
Exactly.
Okay, now
that's him.
Now I'm remembering.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the most formidable foes for Darth Vader.
Because in my mind, I was picturing who you cosplayed as, the red-haired dude.
Oh, that was
Crimson
Jack.
Crimson Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Valance,
it's not him.
He's like the comic book version of Darth Vader. He's a cyborg like Vader.
Okay.
So the two are almost an even match, but you know Vader's got the Force.
Well.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Now, Shadow of a Dark Lord. This issue was released December 19th, 1978, still pre-Sarah.
There's a lot of comics pre-me.
Yeah. We'll go through another couple of years before we get to you, Sarah.
I was going to say, 107 comics. This is issue 21, and we've been doing this for how many years now?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, 4 years now.
Yeah. It's going to be a while.
And this was written by Archie Goodwin, a Marvel Comics staple. Artwork by Carmen Infantino and Gene Day. This is the first time we're seeing Jean Day in these credits. Cover art by Carmen Infantino and Terry Austin.
All right, now, before we move on, I want to say hey to Eric right here.
Oh, he's a SkyTuber.
Who says that Valance has been big lately. Ooh, I guess because of the new reissue now.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't wait to get to that issue. That ties in with issue number 50. So
Oh.
we got a way to go. So
Issue number
issue
50?
108 is a sequel to issue 50. So it's like 50.1.
Okay. Okay, well, all right, so the cover. Now, this is what we love to cover in classic Marvel Star Wars comics is the cover. Now, the cover of this issue, it is really cool. It has this classic Star Wars image structure because it has the bad guy in the background looming over everyone. Why don't you show the SkyTubers right there, Richard?
Oh, look at that. That is classic Star Wars structure. You have
Yeah.
Darth Vader looming in the starfield, way above way above Luke. So this has the classic Star Wars structure. You have Darth Vader looming over Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, and the droids are right next to Luke and Leia, and they're all ready for action.
Mm-hmm.
Luke has his red lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Red
Pink.
lightsaber.
Red and pink.
Red. Why red?
I don't know, it looks pink to
at
me.
this point, they should have enough reference material to know that it's blue. And Princess Leia she's brandishing this very heavy-duty blaster.
Yep.
We'll show everyone right now.
Whoops. Yeah, and also beside them is R2 and 3PO.
Yeah.
And 3PO, of course, is cowering in fear. Sounds like 3PO, right?
Now, when I saw this cover back in 1978, I just loved it. I loved every single bit of this artwork because we finally get to see Darth Vader again, and we haven't seen him since issue 6, which concluded the movie adaptation.
Okay, that's why I was so surprised to see Vader in these comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long.
Yeah. They're using him very sparingly, like they should.
Right.
And look at this action over here. We have Vader with his two powerful fists pumped in the air, and Luke and Leia, they sprung into action. And I love the fact that Darth Vader is inked in black.
Yeah, wasn't he like blue before?
He's
Kind of?
normally painted in blues just because he's always like has like a star field behind him.
Okay.
So black on black doesn't really read, and blue really shows the light reflections.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're getting to see the black armor. And as a kid, I recall a lot of my friends arguing with me because they thought Vader was blue.
Oh.
And this is when you can't go to the internet and check it out. You had things like the classic Marvel Star Wars comics, and this was the most constant piece of Star Wars merchandise. And since he was always in blue, they always thought he was blue. It's like, no, guys, you've seen the film. Come on. Look at the Kenner action figure. He's a black armored Sith Lord.
Right.
Lost a lot of friends that summer. Now, what do you think about this cover, Sarah?
Okay, so my first thought on this cover, I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's cool. So I get it, Richard. As a kid, I could see how you're totally drawn in by this cover. Over all the other covers we've covered, pun intended, in the previous, year, this is definitely like the coolest one with Darth Vader right there. And I just love that he is looming over everyone. And what I also love is a lot of the Star Wars posters that you'll see like the face of the bad guy looming over everyone, right? Just the face, like the Emperor in Rise of Skywalker poster. But in this cover, you have not only Darth Vader's face, but his torso over everyone, and then his cape is framing our heroes right in the middle, this nice V structure to the whole comic cover. So even though you're looking right at Darth Vader's face at first, your eyes automatically then go down and see, Luke and Leia and 3PO and R2. So I think that's great. And I'm also just wondering though, where's Han?
Yeah.
I guess Han's not really in this issue much.
Well,
so
the whole thing is really centering around the big game with Han.
yeah, but not in this issue. That's not what they focus on.
Right. But
So-
as we see Han later on in the issue, spoiler alert, he's shirtless and he's got the physique of He-Man. You'd think they'd put that on the cover, but then again, that really wouldn't appeal to the young boys.
Yeah.
But have Han up there with a blaster. Then again, how many of these issue covers really are representative of what's inside?
Exactly. Or Chewie too.
Yeah,
Chewie.
yeah, come on.
But I do have one more thing to say about the cover, and that is if you look at the star field, there's various stars there that have the cute, like, how you draw a star. You know, like a 8-point star where you do the lines.
Where are you
And-
seeing that?
Oh, like this right here. Those little
Oh,
8-point stars.
Okay.
Like how Elsa would draw stars, you know, something like that. Her snowflakes or something. And it reminds me of my face paint flourishes that I put on everything.
Very nice.
Yes.
All right, now as always, we put these covers out on Facebook in our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook group, and we love to get your comments.
Yeah.
We got a lot of comments, so let's read just a couple of them here.
Okay. So, my mom, Norma Jean Heitman, says, kind of reminds me of King Kong without the skyscrapers.
I can see that. Get
Definitely.
Vader with his two large, menacing fists.
Yes.
All right, I can see that.
Very King Kong-ish.
Bill Medea says, "Isn't it obvious? Darth Vader is mad because Luke has his red lightsaber." Yeah, okay, I can see that. I
Yep.
can see that. Like, hey, give that back to me. That does not belong to you. Didn't you see the movie, Luke? It's mine.
And Marcus says, looks like Vader is throwing...
Throwing.
And Marcus Doring says, looks like Vader is throwing a temper tantrum because he doesn't want to eat his Arabesh soup.
I'm not sure if he's trying to tie it into the Mandalorian with little baby Yoda and his soup, or just not just the
Oh,
thing everyone eats, like Luke eats root leaf soup in Yoda's cave.
okay.
All right.
But Arabesh is like words. That's like
Yes.
the word language. So I don't understand.
Get Marcus on the phone.
Okay.
Courtney Turkel says, "Is C-3PO dancing, or did R2 just trip him over and he is about to fall over?" That's just 3PO's menace. That's just 3PO's stance. Always cowering.
3PO does kind of look like he's dancing, though. That's cute.
Now, Matt Schott says, "And this is how you use Darth Vader. Don't overuse him, so when he shows up, it has a monumental impact." Archie Goodwin basically said as much in an early Star Wars letter column in the original comic series. I recall that. I think we read that Star Wars letter on one of these episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks, Matt. That was great. Great bringing that up.
Yeah.
All right, Reynold Gobey, who just joined us as a SkyTuber over there, says, "Oh, I recognize Vader's anger. That's how I get when I step on a Lego while playing with my action figures."
So right. So right.
Definitely.
Yeah, with more curse words coming out.
Yes.
Then Skysinger says, "Love this art. So fun."
Awesome.
And then let's wrap it up with Scott Bowman. Bowman?
I've always said Bauman, but
Let's wrap it up with Scott Bowman as he says, "Darth Vader? More like Girth Vader. Am I right?"
Girth Vader, is that
He's
because
got a lot of
big...
girth. Yeah, he's got a look at those bodies. It's all flailing out.
Okay,
All
I
right.
like it.
So there you go. I think everyone hit the nail right on that galactic head there.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about this story and our initial thoughts.
Okay. All right, the story. So, initial thoughts first?
Yeah. Your initial thoughts on the story.
Okay, so after reading this comic issue, I really liked it. And unlike the last issue, it spends only 2 half pages on recapping what happened rather than like a quarter of the issue or a third of the issue recapping what had happened. So I really like that. And what I liked about this issue is broken up following each character's story pretty meticulously. You know, you started out following, I think it was Leia at first, right?
Mhm.
And then it switches to Luke and then Vader and then Han. So it was very like bing 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 bing, but all were bringing you to this one moment where then the next issue I'm sure will all be caught up and
Right.
and everyone's going to be grouped back together again almost. So
Whereas in the shorter story arcs, the characters are here, then they're there,
right.
and they never say how they get from A to B because there's not enough story to go around. So this being a 6-part story arc, there's enough here to really flesh out this really, really fun story.
And this is kind of, yeah, like the traveling issue. It's like where each person travels to get to from point A to point B. It's the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's kind of complex,
Mm-hmm.
kind of complex for kids. Now, I don't recall ever really understanding this when I was a kid because it's all a game of setup because the Empire has framed the rebellion and that now all the civilians think that, hey, the rebellion they keep blowing up all of these civilian pleasure yachts and they attack an Empire ship with all these bigwigs on it. And now the Empire is after the rebellion, but the rebellion's like, hey, we had nothing to do with this. And now everyone's just setting each other up. It's a great game of deadfall. Now, for me, I would also say that after seeing the cover, and I hadn't really looked at this cover in years or decades, I was so ready for this. Now, the bad guys we've had in the past they were a little weak, but now it's Vader time.
Uh-huh.
And the story arc is centered around the gambling casino known as the Wheel, and it's like we were just saying, it's very nicely laid out with lots of really great character additions. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out to the end.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Richard. When you saw this cover again after 30 years, so 40 years?
41. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
time
no
for math.
kidding. Holy
Okay,
buckets.
Yeah, 42. I've seen it off and on, but I haven't really looked at it like
Right.
this in 42 years.
Okay, so when you saw this cover now, the other day, did it bring back memories of like reading it as a kid?
Yeah.
Or
and
looking at the pages
Yeah,
as
looking
a
at the
kid?
pictures, and
Yeah.
I what I would do is when I would get these comics, I would read like the first page or two, and yeah, it was just too slow.
Oh, okay.
So I would just look at the pictures. I wouldn't
Okay.
really read them. I'd read the first page, kind of get an idea, and then look at the pictures going forward.
You know, that brings me to one of my initial thoughts on this comic, and that is that since we've been reading these comics, I've read some newer comics, like the new series for Captain Marvel from 2015, 2016. And these classic Marvel Star Wars comics are very wordy compared
very much
to
so.
a lot of the comics now.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the comics now really try to tell stories with the pictures and then use the words kind of to facilitate. But here in these classic comics, they really use the words to be like Leia has thought bubbles going all over the place. Like, look what I'm doing, look what I'm
She's
doing.
got inner monologues every page.
Yeah. So I can see how as a kid you might fall out of that.
Yeah, you know,
But
I do enough reading in school. I don't need this.
yes, but by the same token, I was trying to get through a Mrs. Thor, like a Thor comic, but
Thora.
thank you, the female Thor one, and I couldn't get through it because there were no words to tell me what was happening, and she was fighting all these beasts, and I was like, what is happening? And I just couldn't get into the comic because I couldn't understand what was happening from all the little dashes and stuff. Like, she was like throwing the hammer and it was coming back, but I couldn't tell like what it was hitting, and it was just, I was so frustrated that I had to put it down.
Gotta split the difference somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when I saw this cover again, it's like, oh, we're gonna be covering this. I was so excited. I was really, really excited because I remember seeing this in the spinner rack at John's, the neighborhood store,
Yep.
and being very excited because now we get to see my favorite character, Darth Vader.
Woohoo!
All right, now with that, let's get into the story of Shadow of a Dark Lord.
And as we're getting into the story, those of you Skywalkers who are watching us live, let us know, did you read these comics when you were a kid? And do you remember this specific comic cover? Because it made a big impression on both of us. So we want to know from you guys.
Of course, if you have any comments, let them fly.
Yes.
No, we open up to a splash page where Princess Leia is in mid-escape from... We open up this story on a splash page with Princess Leia as she's in mid-escape from Governor Greyshade. And things are not looking too good, which is apparent by the whole canted or the tilted angle of the frame.
Super cool.
Yeah, for those of you who are 60s Batman fans, that's a canted angle when the angle is tilted.
Bleep, bleep.
And she's hiding from one of the Wheel security force. And this canted angle, the panel, look at it. It looks like Leia is staring at a painting of a guard since he's looking through a framed door that makes it look like she's looking at a picture. Check that out. Tell me that I'm wrong. And just so there's no mistaking what she's looking at, there's a red arrow pointing right at the guard. All right, so let's review here.
Okay, so you think she's looking at a framed
It looks like
painting.
she's looking at a framed picture.
It really does. It's like, unless she's in like a completely dark black room.
Yeah.
That looks really funny.
And now there's a red arrow. It
Yes.
says guard right here. It doesn't say that, but there's a red arrow pointing to the guard.
Uh-huh.
Odd.
Wow.
All right, so Sarah, break down the artwork, mainly of Princess Leia. What do you see there?
Princess Leia?
Uh-huh.
Well, what I think about Princess Leia is that she has gone from wearing this, white gown that kind of drapes, to white spandex, because only spandex clings to a woman's chest that way.
And it is really hugging her,
It really is. It's like, wow.
her upper torso.
Yeah, she really traded in her cloth for spandex there.
It still is that white dress,
Yeah.
but it looks
Well,
like maybe
it
it
is.
gotten wet, so it's all clingy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like it got wet.
So I was not about to touch that myself. That was all you.
I know. Well, these comic book guys, they're all big on anatomy. And when they get to draw a woman, well,
they're big
on anatomy.
Moving on. Now, Leia, she stumbles out toward the guard, pretending to need help. When the guard's guard is down, she suddenly grabs his blaster.
Sweet.
And-
And she says, I need some answers, and your immediate future is tied to how well you give them.
Oh, look at her taking charge. So she wants to know why there aren't more security on this executive floor where she's being held captive. And the guard tells her that most of the security guards are on special duty on the casino floor where everyone is waiting for the big game.
Okay, so I have a question here, Richard, because I was confused by this line. I'm like, special duty, what are they doing? And I figured it was because of the big game, but did we see in the last issue that
was the preliminary games. It's almost I want to
Well,
make
no, that's not my question. My question is, the special duty that the guards are on, were they sent to retake the money from the Imperials
Yes.
in the last issue?
They were working on it.
Okay, because I don't remember that.
Yeah. So to follow up with what Sarah was talking about,
Okay.
the Empire had come to the Wheel, this big gambling Cloud City like casino where there's a lot of profit to be made, and the Empire has left everyone alone because the more the Wheel brings in, the more that Governor Greyshade gives to the Empire as a hey, leave us alone money. So the Empire's making
Shut up money.
Or leave us alone money.
Okay.
Okay, so the Empire's like, wow, they're giving us a lot of money to leave them alone. How much money are they actually keeping over there? And the Empire is funding a lot of their Star Destroyer construction with this money.
Yes.
So now they're on to bigger and better things. So they have this whole ploy of pretending to be one and the same with Governor Greyshade. So now their thing is to So now Commander Strom, he's infiltrating the Wheel as someone who wants to help out Governor Greyshade. But at the same time, as he's keeping Governor Greyshade busy, well, the Stormtroopers are sneaking on board and taking all the profits.
Okay.
So he's the distraction.
So now, but Greyshade has sent his security force to take back those
Yeah,
profits.
because he knows what's going on. He's not stupid.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that's what's going on there. So the Empire, kind of like in Resistance, where the First Order has hired the pirates to attack the Colossus.
Right, so that the Colossus will come to them for aid.
Yes.
And helping them.
Help them get rid of the pirates.
Right,
So
okay.
almost the same story.
Or similar to Palpatine and what he does by pitting in Naboo, like the Naboo, the trade routes and stuff.
Right, yeah.
He made that blockade happen.
Yeah.
So that Naboo will have to come crawling.
So he's working
and-
as a double agent.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So this happens a lot in Star Wars,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So in this, that storyline's a little convoluted.
Okay.
But that I'm hoping that really makes sense to all the listeners, all the Skywalkers out there.
But as a kid, I'm sure
Not
you
a
didn't
clue.
get it at all.
Not a clue. But that's like story C. You have
Okay.
the A story and the B story, and that's like story C.
Okay.
So if you don't get it, no big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Now the big game, that's like the Super Bowl. Can I use that reference? The Super
Yes.
Bowl of all of these games being held on the wheel.
Or
Because
like-
that's like the big Hunger Game. All the other battles we've seen,
We're leading up to
the
it.
leading, all the preliminary, who's going to be left, who are all the final candidates for the big game.
So it's like the basketball playoffs.
Sure.
Yes.
I can make reference to the Super Bowl because it just happened, so it's a little fresh in my head. If you're talking basketball, I get no idea.
It's the similar things.
Okay.
Teams play. Teams get booted off when they lose, and there you go.
There you have it.
Yeah.
I'm more thinking of the Hunger Games. All right, now, Princess Leia, she gets the answers she wants from the guard and stun blasts them.
But do you know how we know that she stun blasts him?
You would never know. Look at that blast.
Look at this blast! Holy cow!
That doesn't look like a blast we've ever seen before.
She's taking him out. The blast goes fadak, and it's like takes up a third of the panel here.
Yeah.
But luckily, but Leia's not a killer, and we know this because she says that special duty is at a place I hope to reach, which means I have to work all the faster, and you have to be stun blasted. It's a good thing she had time to say that as she was stun blasting him.
Yeah, and this is not a stun blast like we've seen before. Whereas in Star Wars, when she was stun blasted, it was those blue circles.
Yeah, not blue circles here.
I don't think that guard's waking up anytime soon.
No.
Now, Leia jumps into an elevator tube that goes down. And how do we know that tube is going down?
Oh, look at the little red arrows.
No, that's a big red arrow.
There's our friends again. The red arrows.
The red.
Are they like the red buttons?
Let me push them. And now we see her inner monologues.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. And we see her inner monologues that she'll need help. But where in the Force is Han, Chewie, and the droids? This goes on for how many panels?
Look at all these words, you guys.
Yeah.
It's like so wordy.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is they have this one beautiful panel where she's going down in that elevator lift. I guess it's a lift. And then you see gradually closer up on her face as she's having these inner monologues until finally there's one where it's very, very shadowy. Doesn't look like Leia anymore. And in fact, it reminded me of Madame Leota.
From Haunted Mansion.
From the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I can see
The
that.
woman's head in the bubble.
Yeah.
So-
a seance woman.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I was like, look, that's Madame Leota talking, not Leia.
And now, just like every other issue, she recaps the past 3 issues of the story arc
Yes.
as she's going down in this clear hamster tube elevator lift.
Luckily, though, it's only like 1, 2, 3, 4 panels total, spanning about a page. So that's the recap for you guys who can't remember after a month.
And she does it in this awesome lighting too.
Yes.
Every panel of her, she has got different lighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, I like to bring up the last panel. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, this is one long run-on sentence. Okay. Oh, so here's where she's explaining
Yes.
that...
She goes over the Empire's plan of
Yes.
framing the rebellion and destroying that innocent pleasure craft,
Right.
all in order for the Emperor's big plan and crushing all resistance.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Is there foreshadowing there?
I-
It actually says resistance.
Yes, in fact, what it says
Maybe I'm just reading into things.
What it says... No, I like where you're going with this, and I have something else to say. It's bringing them one giant stride nearer to crushing any and all resistance.
Mm-hmm.
But can I just bring up this panel that says that line? And look, it's a giant stormtrooper boot crushing the ground.
That
One-
close up of that stormtrooper.
One giant stride. into crushing the resistance. So I love that. Those are both foreshadowing, some great alliteration there.
Mhm.
And yeah, there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
What more can you want from a classic Marvel Star Wars comic?
It's everything right there, plus a lot of foreshadowing. See, if I had read these as a kid, I'd be so far ahead of myself. So now Leia knows she's got to get all the stolen loot from the Empire, they're also on the wheel looking for the rebellion. The Empire knows that the rebels are there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she's wondering how Senator Greyshade is tied into all of this.
And she knows he is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now cut to a nearly naked Luke.
Woo! Look at this, you guys.
He's on a medical bed full of mechanical contraptions, and as the narration says, all right, I'm not making this up. This is what the narration says. We're going to pause and look back in time, back several hours as we measure it. We explore the mystery of Luke Skywalker. Last issue, we saw that Luke had vanished from the Automed couch, and now we will learn why.
How and why?
And now, back to our story.
Wow.
So at this,
who's we, by the way?
all of us. They're speaking for the readers.
Okay.
And now we see the inside of Luke's mind. Okay.
Yes.
Now we see the inside of Luke's mind where he is running in deep space.
He's a Starfield.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yeah. And he's running from what we still don't know. And suddenly he sees Ben Kenobi, who says,
Yes!
"There's no escape, Luke. Not this way. You cannot run away. You must fight."
Nice.
Isn't that good? And Luke resists and says, "Maybe I'm just a coward." Wait, what? Is this more Disney sequel foreshadowing here? Ding, 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 ding.
Because he runs away to his island?
Yes, and he says, "I'm just a coward."
Okay.
Come on, it's right. We had the whole sequel trilogy planned out, laid out right here in these classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Okay, so Richard, what's funny is when I was reading these comics, I did not think of the sequel trilogy connections, but I did think of Empire Strikes Back connections. Because if you think about it, when does Ben next appear to Luke in the films?
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, kind of in a similar fashion.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a lot of sequel foreshadowing here.
Yeah, it's super
not just
cool.
the Disney era sequels, but
Yeah.
in all of Empire and Jedi.
I love it.
Yeah. And Ben tells him that he must stay and fight. And Luke says, "I'll try." Oh, another callback. "I'll try." And Luke turns around and he is standing toe to toe with Darth Vader.
And he says, "No!"
No! Oh, Luke's is more like, "No!"
I know. I love it though.
All right.
No!
All right, catch your breath. All right, now, you know what?
Whoa.
This is a good time to cut to a commercial break.
All right, but before we do that, I just want to say another Empire Strikes Back reference. So I want to say another Empire Strikes Back reference, and that is when Luke goes to the cave, he faces Darth Vader.
Mhm.
So this is another, like, this is in his mind kind of happening. So I love it, you guys. This is so cool. Storytellers are all kind of, we're in that place.
All right, now it's time for a commercial break.
Perfect. Okay, commercial break.
And now it's time for the commercial break.
Richard.
And now we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
And our sponsor today is Hostess Cupcakes.
And now let's take a break and hear from Hostess Cupcakes.
So, okay.
I'm sorry. And now it's time for a commercial break.
Okay, so this break comes to us courtesy of Hostess Cupcakes. Because in each episode of the classic Marvel Star Wars comics, there were ads.
There were full page advertisements that rolled in Marvel heroes to Hostess snacks. And Sarah, what is the title of this particular advertisement?
Ooh, it says, first of all, the Incredible Hulk changes his mind.
What? Okay, now in this one-page advertisement, Hulk is very upset that people won't leave him alone.
No.
Who?
He's smashing trees and
Who was he?
very upset.
Who was he talking about? There's no paparazzi around. There's no bloggers on his tail. I don't know who he's talking about. And he says, "Why do puny humans hound Hulk?" Look at that picture of Hulk. There's no one around him.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? He just got away from everyone, and now he's just being upset.
Yeah, maybe it's his ego talking. and suddenly a boy drops out of a tree into Hulk's large bear grasp. And he tells Hulk, "If you want people to leave you alone, I can help." He reaches into his backpack and tosses out packs of Hostess cupcakes to 3 big burly guys.
Only you can't tell they're Hostess cupcakes. I thought they were like Wonder Bread packages at first.
Oh no, those like smell it. You scratch the screen and it smells like Hostess cupcakes. She's actually doing it.
It's not working.
But now check it out. The little boy, he's throwing cupcakes to these big guys standing behind a bush at a park. Well, whatever they were planning on doing earlier has been forgotten.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks to these moist devil's food cake, it says. Oh, Hostess.
Oh, and smooth chocolate ice king.
Didn't anyone proofread this? And Hulk is now pleased with the boy. Today, Hulk thinks humans are okay. Hulk may change his mind tomorrow. Hulk may change Hulk's mind tomorrow.
Oh.
And with that, he karate chops a tree in half. Now,
oh my goodness.
Now, this is the second tree he has destroyed in this ad. You know, Hulk may not know that taking down trees in a park can result in criminal charges, fines, and imprisonment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But you know what? This is also foreshadowing the sequel trilogy, Richard. Because Ray chops down trees.
Yeah, but she wasn't in a national park.
No, but
Hulk,
it's
Hulk
still
here is he's in a public park, national park.
It still messed up BB-8.
Now, yes, it did. Now, Sarah, in this Hostess universe,
Okay.
how many Hostess snacks would one need to pay off such a fine as destroying park trees?
Oh my. How many? Like give them back?
No, how many Hostess snacks? I've looked it up in the Hostess universe
Oh my.
that I just made up.
Are they $2 each?
No, just you don't pay them in money, you pay them in Hostess snacks.
What do you guys? Oh, 3 says Reynolds.
Reynolds says 3. All right.
Okay.
You know what?
I like that.
Y'all are both wrong, okay? One would need a Hostess cupcake, a Twinkie,
Oh.
a Suzy Q, a pack of snowballs, an apple fruit pie, ho-hos, ding-dongs, zingers, and big wheels.
Oh.
Now keep in mind, big wheels haven't been made since the late 80s.
What if I only had a cherry fruit pie?
Oh, then your butt is going to be sitting in jail for quite some time in this Hostess universe. Take this seriously, Sarah! Come on!
I'm sorry.
Oh.
But
All right.
Hostess cupcakes are my favorite. Sidebar: which treat is everyone's favorite? Which Hostess treat? I like Hostess cupcakes.
Now, if you're not going to take this seriously,
I really want a Hostess cupcake.
we need to get
now.
back to the story.
Can we have a Hostess cupcake now?
No, we can't. Do you need to pay off a fine?
No, but I want one. What's your favorite?
I like them all.
No. You have to pick one.
I like big wheels.
What are those?
See, there's a long story, and big wheels and ding dongs are the same things.
Oh.
So now, once again, if you want to take this seriously, we need to move on.
I like ding dongs though.
All right, moving on. Moving back to our story.
But I want to talk about Hostess cupcakes now.
No, 'cause you weren't taking our talk of ding dongs and zingers and big wheels and snowballs seriously.
But Reynolds was, so he took it for the team.
Heavy fines have not. You know what? Going back to our story, okay?
Okay, fine.
Now, we come back to Luke Skywalker, whose hair has grown 10 inches since he first saw Vader. What is up with this? Look at how long his hair is long as yours, Sarah.
It is. It's like down to this mid-back.
And he fires his blaster to no effect, and Ben tells him that he can't beat Vader with a blaster or his father's lightsaber. It's funny how he mentions that part. But the power within you. Now, I don't think Luke is thinking the Force since he's trying hand-to-hand combat. Look at him, he's trying to fight Vader with his fists.
That's silly.
Now we come back to the present day, to reality, and Luke...
Oh! But
What?
wait. I have another thing to say about this panel.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So as Luke is like challenging Vader. He's trying to...
In hand-to-hand combat.
He is. Isn't he trying to grab the lightsaber out of his arm? That's what it looks like to me. But
yeah.
Well, that's what it looks like. But at the same token, you know, with all these words on these wordy comics, there is one thought bubble that really stands out. Or not thought bubble, but word bubble. And let's see. So Luke is kind of having this inner monologue with Ben, and Ben is saying, "You can do it, Luke. Strike. Fight back with all the power within you." And Luke says, "Yes, with all the power within me." And it's in this really cool, bold font that you don't really see anywhere else in the comic. And I thought it was really neat. It, like, really stands out to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
all bold and all, like, it's like the biggest words ever in the comic. And
He means it.
yeah, and it really makes this particular panel stand out as kind of the climax of this scene.
All right, now we cut back to Luke, and he's back on that medbay couch, and like Vader, he bursts out of these restraints after being encased in this mechanized suit.
Yeah.
Now we cut back to Luke, who is laying in that med bay with all the metal contraptions holding him down. And like Vader, when he bursts out of the restraints after being encased in his Darth Vader outfit in Revenge of the Sith, Luke bursts out of these steel constraints, and the narration reads, "Eyes still glazed by drugs." Luke moves instinctively. Now put that bee in your bonnet for a second, okay? Because there's a running theme that starts here.
Okay, but I also want to say that when Luke bursts out of those confines, he turns into He-Man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you and Raynald are on the same page there.
Yeah. Oh, I have the power. Yes. Thank you, Raynald.
Nice. Now Luke pries open a locker and gets his stuff, and he ignites a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, what color is this lightsaber?
It looks yellow to me.
Yeah, exactly. Contrary to the cover art, it's not red. It's yellow.
What the heck?
I think the artists were taking their inspiration from the Kenner action figures. So on the cover, you have a red lightsaber. Now you have a yellow lightsaber. Guys, look at a still from the movie. Just go
Yeah.
watch the movie. It's not red or yellow. It's right there. It's blue.
I wonder, now this could be an art thing, and I understand your point, definitely. Like they need to make it like the movie. However, in art, like those colors, there's colors that jump toward you and there's colors that recede. And blue is definitely a receding color. It's used for like backdrops and things. In fact, I use it in a lot of our artwork as a backdrop, whereas reds and yellows, they jump forward off the page. Like sometimes if you look at Instagram and you see like words in red that are on a dark background, they look like they're almost 3D popping out at you. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that they really wanted that yellow lightsaber to pop or the red lightsaber to pop.
Now, as a kid, I was all over these comics. I loved them because they were Star Wars, so I had to have them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if the artists were more true to their sources, maybe I would have been more into these comics.
Oh, yeah.
And actually reading them. Like Chewbacca looks like Sasquatch from $6 Million Man because he's got no fur around his face. R2 never looks like R2-D2, and Luke has got a yellow or red lightsaber. So they weren't true to the source. So maybe that's why I was looking at it going, yeah, it's not really Star Wars, but yet it says Star Wars, and my little 9-year-old mind couldn't put it all together.
You know what? I think there's definitely some merit in that, because when we started reading the comics in 2015, the classic the Marvel Star Wars comics in 2015, the Star Wars one was very much very realistic. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very realistic. And then after about episode 20 or so, issue 20 or so, it got this more stylized look.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
And that's when I fell out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I just couldn't, like, it wasn't Star Wars to me. So yes, I think definitely.
Yeah, I think we're opening doors here.
Yeah.
Okay. But now, as Luke is running with his yellow lightsaber, he's still in that glaze.
Yes, he
by the
is.
drugs, I guess. And he's still waging war with Darth Vader in his mind and destroys him. Ooh, he destroys Darth Vader in his mind. But with what? He was told by Ben not to use a lightsaber or a blaster, but whatever he used made a zamp sound effect.
I think, does he punch him? It looks like he punches him.
I-
You can't see because his fist is kind of hidden in Darth Vader's chest, or like you see the back
Yeah.
of Darth Vader, you see Luke's arm.
But Ben's been instructing him to use what's inside of him, not inner strength, or not physical strength.
Right, but this is just his imagination, so he had to do something physical in his imagination.
Or
to
do what Ben's been instructing you to do. Use the Force. Use your inner strength.
Okay, well, I mean, metaphysically, that's what he did, and how are you going to portray that in a comic, but by using, something that looks like he's hitting Darth Vader, I guess. I mean, how would you do that?
Maybe his head lowered, his hand raised, and Vader is being blown back.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Like he's using the Force. He's using what he's been training to do.
Okay.
Using his fist, that's not what that goes against everything he's been training to do.
Okay, but, well, the next panel, though, is pretty cool, and Ben is saying that, you fought and won, young Luke, now it's over. All over. And as he's saying it's over, the comic art is showing that Ben is kind of disappearing back into the Force in his mind. And I love this panel. I think it's so cool. It's such a great representation. It looks like Luke's hair is being blown as Ben is disappearing into the Force.
Now, finally, Luke snaps out of this trance because he's defeated Darth Vader in his mind. He's like tapped into this inner force, and now he's done what he had to do and conquer his fear. And he's now with Princess Leia, who doesn't look at all happy to see him. She's been running around the wheel looking for everybody.
Yeah.
She's been lost. She finally sees Luke.
Oh, you know what? We never got her reunion with the droids. They just she shows up with the droids.
Everyone just shows up together again.
That's funny.
Maybe she's stunned by all the dead bodies of the security guards Luke struck down while in his trance.
Dude!
Or maybe she's wondering why Luke's got a red lightsaber now.
What is up with that? Okay, so that seriously brought back memories of, like, Anakin and the
Revenge of the
Sand
Sith.
People.
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
Sand People stuff.
yeah.
Kylo and those aliens at the opening of Rise of Skywalker. Like, holy buckets.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Luke is taking a dark turn here in these comics.
In his drugged up trance, he's killed, like, how many people over there?
1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4.
4,
guys,
okay.
yeah.
But what color is the lightsaber again?
It's red.
Choose a lane, people!
And
Choose a lane!
R2's upset. R2 says, Fadeep!
Now, Luke reveals that he had touched someone else's mind. It was twisted, evil, and strong.
Ooh.
It was so strong, it made me want to curl up. It made me want to crawl up inside myself and never come out.
Wow.
Ooh.
Well, it sounds like depression, honestly.
It sounds like he wants to go to R2 now. He then tells Leia that Vader is alive. But why would she ever question that?
Okay, so this was a sticking point for me, too.
Okay.
Okay, because if you think about it, so they were at the Death Star, and Han, does that shot. Okay, great shot, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home. And Vader gets spun out into space. And if they weren't paying attention to Vader's ship, they might have thought that he died along with the Death Star. So,
right.
I mean, I could see that happening. What do you think?
I think I don't know why he had to tell her that, because I'm not sure why she would ever question that, because from Star Wars to this period in the timeline, I'm sure she had heard Darth Vader was still out there.
Okay.
Because this, their social media back then, it was planet to planet, galaxy wide.
Okay, well,
So
plus she has her contacts in the Senate and stuff, so yeah.
Right, yeah. And
Okay.
plus that line, Darth Vader is alive, that's a pretty powerful line in a comic.
And it was written that way.
Yeah.
With the font and everything. It's that bigger font, too.
And Luke is telling her, look at the size of this font. I'm not kidding around here. So he tells Leia that Vader's alive, and he's now searching for them.
Yes.
I think Leia could connect those dots.
Cut to Darth Vader on flowers!
All right, now, okay, Sarah, tell us about this splash page.
So, it looks like Vader is on a planet, And very prominently behind his head are some beautiful, what looks like Hawaiian flowers back there. Look at how pretty that is.
They're giant blossoms.
Lots of foliage. You've got this big bright sun happening. And then you kind of look around. Like my eyes went around. I was like, oh, there's Vader. There's the flowers. There's dead bodies. Wait, what? And these, okay, so these troopers, not troopers.
Stormtroopers.
No.
Oh, the rebel officers.
The rebel officers, rebels, are
an
like
information
lying,
retrieval team.
they're lying dead, but their outfits kind of blend into the foliage.
Yeah,
So-
you're right. I did not see that guy in the foreground.
No, yeah, they're like in the foreground. They're kind of framing the picture, but other than that, like that was the last thing I saw. I was like realized, oh, Darth Vader's holding up a guy. He must have. Yeah.
I love the dichotomy of this splash page because you got those big giant flowering blossoms all around. Then you have Darth Vader squeezing a guy by the throat in the foreground.
Yep.
And like I was saying before, this is a rebel informational retrieval team, and they had been wiped out before the Empire got there. So the Empire, they weren't responsible for that massacre.
No, which is surprising.
Yeah, and this planet is Altar.
Ooh.
I love that name. Now, a trooper found one guy who is clinging to life and tells Vader that he has administered enough drugs so that he'll answer any questions.
Why do you keep bringing up the drugs?
It's just a running theme in a Star Wars comic for 9-year-olds.
Okay.
So this officer who is barely alive tells Vader that there was a cyborg here. A cyborg here looking for Leia and Luke. When he didn't find them, he killed everyone.
Whoa.
He then begs Vader to ease his pain, and Vader does so by plunging his lightsaber right through his chest.
Ease the pain, rebel. I'll end it entirely.
Oh, well then again, you didn't say exactly how. Are you still hurting? No. Not sure what the guy had in mind.
Yeah. Maybe he was asking. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but now Vader's very happy. He's happy that he's got a formidable rival out there.
Why do you think he's happy about that?
Oh, look at that last frame. Look at that last panel. What does that
see
say?
It. It says, interesting. I seem to have a rival. Perhaps even a formidable one.
He's happy about this. Finally, someone who can challenge him.
Do you read a tone in this thought bubble?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
He's very happy at last. Give Vader his happiness, okay? How many times can he be happy at in one story?
I don't think Vader's happy. I think he's like the Hulk.
No.
He's always angry.
He is, but he's angry at the fact that he can't love this moment even more.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I see that.
Now, over the planet is a fleet of Star Destroyers and Captain Wormus? Or is
What?
it Wormies?
Vermis, I don't know, Wormis.
It's Wermis.
It's a very, very awful name.
Best name ever, in my
No.
opinion. And he bears a striking resemblance to Richard Nixon.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And he reaches out to Vader and tells him that he just checked the coordinates Vader gave him earlier when he had sensed Luke through the Force. And Wormies, I'm gonna call him Wormies.
Wormies, yeah.
Wormies, who apparently has a death wish, he comes back and says there was nothing there, and you're the expert on metaphysics, the Force, and all that. But it sounds a bit vague to be tying up my technicians, dear boy. What?
Dear boy.
What?
Right.
What?
So Vader responds to this, surprisingly not by choking him.
No, I think he's on a drug, some kind of sedative.
Yeah.
And he comes back with, Wormies, I haven't been a boy for some years, and no one has ever rated me as dear.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
Let's let that sink in.
Yeah, I need like a couple of minutes for this.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, now, surprisingly, Captain Wormies, he lives through that. How? I don't know. But he has tracked a ship in the same coordinates that Vader gave him, and that ship was the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
And now the Empire knows the rebels are on the wheel.
Uh-oh.
Not just any rebels, but the rebels he's looking for.
So guess where Vader's headed next?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Where did you point at? Okay. All right, well, that's the end of Vader's part in this particular comic, but back at the wheel, Senator Doctor Strange, I mean Gray Shade. He's wearing an outfit that really looks like he just ransacked the closets of Doctor Strange.
Closets.
I know it. He looks like he just ransacked the closets of Doctor Strange.
And who else? Mr. Marvel?
Mr. Marvel.
Yeah, look at that. He's wearing a red jumpsuit with that yellow starburst in the middle of it.
Who's Mr. Marvel?
He was the next iteration of Miss Marvel.
Oh, or Captain Marvel, or
Yes.
Mr. Marvel? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
All those in that same time frame. Because look at his outfit.
Yeah.
You get Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange, and they make Senator Greyshade.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And he has just been informed by his butler droid, Master Com, that Princess Leia has escaped. And he tells Strange Shade. I'm sorry, Gray Shade.
Oh, Strange Shade.
That he had left his study up on the friendship and loyalty the droid. And he tells Strange Shade that he had left to study up on the friendship and loyalty that the droids had with their masters.
Right.
So he was so interested in R2 and 3PO and Luke and Leia's their relationship with the droids, and he didn't understand that, and he wanted to know more. So he figured that Princess Leia, she is held captive. She's got a security force around here. I'm gonna go do some of my own research.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Now, if it were possible, and if you could ever have a friend, Master Com, saying this to Gray Shade, if I could ever have a friend, I'd want it to be you, Gray Shade.
Aw.
That's so touching. I think they're going for an Oscar moment there.
Yeah, I think that's a foreshadowing of like Data, who's very much like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. How does Gray Shade respond to this? Let's see. Okay. Send those men on a special assignment.
He says in big capital. He says in big capital words. He says in big capital font. Awkward.
I don't think so. Oh.
All right, now we cut back to Gray Shade security force, and they're blasting away at stormtroopers.
Uh-huh. So Gray Shade responds to this by saying, "I didn't authorize any such study. You're in rebellion."
And then orders Master Com to leave
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Go, just go.
It's like random.
This is a very odd. There's like 4 or 5 panels where they're both just staring at each other.
Yeah.
Their eyes shifting back and forth.
Wow.
And yeah, so I gotta go, Master Com. Now, back to the actual story.
Yes.
They cut to Gray Shade security force, and they're blasting away stormtroopers and finding the pirated wheel profits stolen by the Empire.
Oh.
So this is that C story. All of this is witnessed by Luke, Leia, and the droids. Now we cut to Han Solo getting prepped for the big game.
Oh, but wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
He's getting prepped.
Yes, he
He's
is.
got his shirt off. He's shirtless.
He-Man would be very envious of Han Solo's physique.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Sarah?
What?
Sarah?
What's
Sarah,
that?
back to the story.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Han is released out to the zero-gravity playing field. When he sees the other contestants, he has to fight to the death. One of which is Chewbacca.
Wait, who is that? You can't tell that's Chewbacca.
The big, hairy blob of fur.
Uh-huh. Wow. So they're all fighting in zero gravity, which means some of the bigger guys don't have the advantage like they would with gravity. But that's where our story ends in this issue.
The end.
Next
Was...
issue, though, To the Last Gladiator. Dun dun dun.
All right, so Sarah, what are your thoughts now after going through this comic?
Okay, so once again, I think it was very exciting, very wordy, but overall, we got to see Darth Vader again, which was super cool, and we got to see all of our heroes start to line up for the next issue. But I still felt that this issue had a lot of merit, and I had a blast reading it.
Okay, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, and I'm so glad they're starting to pull the band back together now that Luke is out of his force trauma.
Oh, I had another thought.
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
One more thought. This was the gratuitous issue. Because you have skin tight Princess Leia in her white spandex, you had half naked Luke, and then you had shirtless Han.
Yeah, there. You gotta pull those moms and dads in there somehow. And like we were saying earlier, this issue has got a lot of film foreshadowing. We see Luke battling Vader, sensing him in the Force, communicating with Ben's Force ghost, and Han and Chewie forced into battle, like what we see in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Definitely.
And this feels like this issue should be the penultimate story, but there's two more to go. And I'm glad that we're getting just a little bit of Darth Vader, and because as we know, less is more. So
Right.
I don't want to see him for another couple of issues now, but I'm very excited about bringing in a rival for him. Bringing in Valance,
Yeah.
the Hunter.
Yeah, I agree. Who's kind of a cyborg as well. So,
Mhm.
woo! All
right.
right. Well,
All
let's
right.
see.
All right, now, Sarah, what was your favorite line of dialogue?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite line is...
Don't steal mine. Don't steal mine. Don't steal
I won't
mine.
steal yours. Oh, okay. Sorry, most non-Star Wars moment. Okay, my favorite line of dialogue is the very first line, which is narration. And it says, "Welcome to the middle of an escape." What comic starts with that? This one
This
does.
one?
But I think that was so funny and it made me laugh.
Okay.
So that's my favorite line of dialogue.
I guess that's what you were laughing at last night when you were reading this comic. I saw you over there laughing.
I was, yes.
All right, my favorite line of dialogue is when Darth Vader says, "Wormies, I haven't been a boy for some years, and no one has ever rated me as dear."
Wow.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
That's
in my
a
whole
mouthful of a line. Who talks like that?
life. Not Darth Vader, I can tell you that.
No.
All right, now, what is your favorite panel?
Okay. So my favorite panel, you know what? I had a bunch, but I do have to choose one. So, you'll probably choose ones. Well, okay, so my runner-up, no pun intended, is this panel where it says, "Bringing him one giant stride nearer to crushing the Resistance." And it's got the big foot.
Oh, the big
right there.
stormtrooper boot right in the
Yeah.
foreground.
That's crushing the Resistance. So that's my runner-up. But I think my favorite panel is this panel, because it's so different from all the other panels we've seen in most of the comics, is where Leia is riding down the lift shaft. And it's taking up the whole left side of a page. And it's cool colors. I like the colors. You've got like the blues in the background, and she's riding down in yellow, and she's wearing her white dress, and there's pink like concentric circles to show that it's a round lift that's taking her down. And the red arrows, cherry on top.
There you go.
All right, Richard, how about you?
All right, my favorite panel is the splash page of Vader holding that dead man by the throat. His lightsaber is ignited, all while standing on this beautiful planet with giant blossoms growing in the background. And you can just tell that this whole planet smells like your local florist. Walk into a florist, it's like, this is what Altars... Walk into a florist, and you'll... All right, do this. Walk into a florist, and then you can say, "I know what Altar smells like."
Exactly. Or Felucia.
Or Felucia, exactly, yeah. All right, now, what is your most non-Star Wars moment or line of dialogue in this issue?
Okay. So my most non-Star Wars moment is Captain Wormies and Vader. I have to go back to them. And it's the line before your favorite line,
Uh-huh.
where Wormies says, "Well, you're the expert on metaphysics, the Force and all that, but it sounds a bit vague to be tying up my technicians, dear boy."
Whoa.
I can never, ever hear that in any Star Wars film. Maybe some classic 50s, like, movie where there's a commander out,
But to speak to your superior,
oh, yeah.
who's known for crushing your throat
Yeah,
when
you
you
don't-
talk back to him and reminding him of being a boy, being Anakin, being a slave, that's just a one-way ticket to death.
I agree.
Now, for me, my most non-Star Wars moment comes when Darth Vader, after hearing, comes when Darth Vader is questioning that man who's clinging to life, and the man just told him all about Valance, how he'd wiped out everyone in this encampment, and then Vader takes his lightsaber and plunges it into his chest afterwards.
Okay.
No, that's the most non-Star Wars moment in 1978.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that sounds kind of
But then,
typical.
yeah, you look forward to Rogue One. It's like, oh, okay, it's a Star Wars moment now. But I would say, looking through the lens of someone in 1978, that's a very non-Star Wars moment. That's a very vicious death.
Okay.
At least I hope it was his chest, not his like head.
Ew.
Ew, I know.
Well, that would have
I know.
been faster, but okay. Well,
All right.
lovely.
All right, now before we wrap up, Sarah, we've got to. All right, Sarah, before we wrap up, we've got to read a letter from the Star Wars letter column.
Now, once again, these are in the backs of the comic book issues.
These are in the middle of the comic books.
Oh, really?
Yes, because you have Star Wars and then you have Sans Soapbox.
Oh.
So one is more Star Wars centered and one is more Marvel centered.
Okay, so the Star Wars is the Star Wars centered one.
Yes, people are writing in asking questions about the Star Wars comics.
Now, did you read these as a boy? Or did you just
No.
skip over just pictures?
I skipped. Because the font was so much smaller than the rest, and it's like, whoa, that's way too much reading for this 9-year-old.
I was like the opposite of you as a kid. I looked at comics, I was like, oh, there's too many pictures. I want to get into like a big, long book full of words.
Oh, not me. All right, so get a load of this guy.
Okay.
Starts off, Dear Mr. Goodwin, ahem, please flip through Star Wars
Whoa!
17.
He actually wrote a hymn?
Ahem. Please flip through Star Wars 17, page 5 now. Very good. Begin reading. Now, I transcribed this, though the way this was written in this column.
Okay, keep going.
Now then, who ever heard of a Bantha Raider? And this is the issue Crucible, number 17. It was that one standalone issue where Luke he was reflecting back to his days on Tatooine with Biggs and fighting Tusken Raiders.
Okay, continue reading what he said.
Okay. Now then, who ever heard of a Bantha Raider? The word is Tusken Raider. Tusken. Otherwise known as a sand person. Till the Wookiees like to start losing, make mine Marvel. Steve Haney, Route 6, Box 307, Easley, South Carolina, 29640.
Whoa! That's an attitude.
That is a big attitude. And like always, I like to look up these people on Facebook.
Yes.
And there's like 15 Steve Haneys.
Oh, man.
I even went through their abouts, and no one was from South Carolina.
Okay, this looks like a guy who should be on Twitter.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure this guy's all over Twitter. Even at this, whatever age he was.
Search Twitter for Steve and ahem.
Yeah. Haney, Haynie. I so hope I find one of these letter writers on Facebook sometime.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this guy I looked at and nowhere to be found. Now, Marvel, they always write back to the people writing letters.
Ooh, okay, what did Marvel say?
And Marvel wrote back and said what the caption should have said was Bantha Rider. Although now that we think about it, one Tusken stole another's Bantha, wouldn't he then be a Bantha Raider?
Oh.
Burn, Stephen Haney.
Steve Haney, do you work for Marvel? No? Oh, I guess you don't get to decide these things.
So there was a typo.
Okay.
When it should have been Bantha Rider.
Okay, I have a question though, because Steve signs off with "Till the Wookiees like to start losing, make mine Marvel."
That was the big Marvel slogan. Make mine Marvel.
Okay, so he's belittling them, but at the same time he's saying he's a Marvel reader.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, what a tude. What an attitude.
I really want to know all about this guy. how he was at this age.
I'm really glad you picked this one.
Yeah, me too.
And what his age was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know.
I'm sure he didn't have a lot of friends.
Maybe he was an 11-year-old what's his name in, oh my gosh, in Big Bang Theory.
Young Sheldon?
Yeah, young Sheldon. Doesn't that sound like something young Sheldon would say?
I could see that.
Yeah. So maybe he's a precocious 11-year-old.
And once again, I don't think Steve Haney had a lot of friends in school.
Oh.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us once again for Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, where we just went through Star Wars number 21, Shadow of a Dark Lord.
We will see everyone back for issue number 22, titled To the Last Gladiator. Now, will they stick with that title, or will it change again? Stay tuned and find out.
Now we're going to give Now we have to give a huge thank you to Rob Dellinger, who wrote our awesome...
Classic Marvel.
Yeah. And a big thanks to Rob Dellinger, who once again wrote us an awesome intro jingle with Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics and really gave it that 1970s vibe. Now you can check out Rob's band, Alpha Rhythm Kings, over there at alpharhythmkings.com and find out his tour schedule so you can go see him in concert and yell out, Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics!
Yeah!
Things we want to share! He loves it when you yell those kind of skywalking requests out. He loves it. He loves it.
You can also check out all the rest of the shows on the Skywalking Network, Skynet, including Skywalking Through Neverland, Talking Apes, and Sabers and Spells. You can find them all at skywalkingthroughneverland.com. Hi, Hawkboy. You can also find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram. Wow, we have Periscope here in these notes. We haven't updated them.
What's a Periscope?
You can also join our Facebook group. Oh my gosh. You can also join our Facebook group. Just search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland group and request to join. Then you can also email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com. Let us know what your favorite classic Marvel Star Wars comic is, or give us some ideas for some comics that we should be reading right now.
Now, for Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, this is Richard.
And this is Sarah.
Saying,
Forp!
my dear boy. Zamp!
Hey! I want to say that.
Go ahead and say it.
Zamp!
Zamp!
Hey!
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Zamp!
Zamp! Zamp!
Zet.
Zamp! Zamp!
Zet.
See you next time, everybody!
Wow. All right. Well, that went a long time.
Yeah.
Guess what, though? It's dinner time. Woohoo! Oh, good. I made my middle school soccer team. Yay! Good job, Hawkboy. That's awesome.
My first year at middle school. No. I watch your vids and
try to be better at things.
Oh, thank you, Hawkboy. It was so nice of you to say that.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Candace and Reynold and Hawkboy and
Hawkboy, what are your favorite videos that
Eric.
you've watched that we've done? That was good to know.
Yes.
Do you like no, not yet. Do you like the Galaxy's Edge cookbook stuff? All of them. Well, thank you.
Very nice.
School soccer team.
I love soccer. I played it for 10 years.
Nice. Hawkboy, have you read these classic Marvel Star Wars comics? Are you into any of the Star Wars comics? Are you new to Skywalking Through Neverland? We haven't seen you. No.
Oh, no.
No, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? You don't really have to anymore because now I listen to the show and we tell you all about them.
It's true.
So, yeah. So, Hawkboy, tell us a little bit about yourself. We've never seen your name come up before. Are you new to Skywalking?
Oh, cool. Yay.
Are you a Skywalker listener? Do you listen to the Skywalking Through Neverland?
Podcast?
The podcast? This is like the old-fashioned. Oh, you knew? Oh, good.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, and what kind of a fan are you? Are you a Disney fan, a Star Wars fan, and what Star Wars Marvel fan? And what's your fandom of choice. The Clone Wars, Rebels, the films, the prequels, the video games. Disney fan and Star Wars.
Nice. Everyone else watching now, what's
Clone Wars.
Oh, Clone Wars,
boy.
yeah. Who else is looking forward to Clone Wars? Hand raised here.
Gotta get our next Clone Wars episode ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
So excited.
Oh, Joshua Jordan.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo. That's going to be so exciting.
Yeah. So,
Coming up in what, the 20...
11 more days?
Is it the 29th or
No,
24th?
21st.
21st. Whoa, super cool.
Yeah, so Hawk Boy, join us over there at our Facebook group. Love to hear more from you and see more from you.
Yeah, it's a great group where lots of us talk and you get to know people.
You say your brother brought you in? Do we know your brother?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, thanks for
You're-
joining us on YouTube then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so you said your brother brought you in. Do we know your brother? Maybe we recognize his name.
Understood.
Believe us, they're looking out for your own interest.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, stay off of social media. It'll help your patience
It's true.
and your understanding. All right, with that, everybody, we have got to wrap it up.
Yes, I gotta make dinner.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so Hawk Boy 64 and Reynold, I think, is still there, and Joshua Jordan.
Yeah.
I think Candace Cherry.
Yep.
Uh,
And Eric.
and
Eric Warren. Yeah.
Eric Warren. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye everyone.
See you next time.